Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, Salatu Wassalamu ala Rasulihil Kareem. We are grateful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for providing us with this opportunity to hear from our dear brother Serdar Demirel, who was our colleague here, now working in Istanbul, visiting us for a few days. So we took the opportunity to listen from him, from the, I should say, horse's mouth, about the current situation in Turkey. The topic was, I think it was given by you, isn't it? The title itself?
Actually, yeah, we because we didn't put proper, because it related to Islamic movement, it related to current issues.
Yeah, well, this is related to what we have been doing in this university, and of course we have established our current affairs forum to achieve some of the goals, visions that the university has set for itself. So we took the opportunity and advantage of his presence over here. Without taking any further time, I'll just invite him to speak to us about, say, 40-45 minutes, and then we would like to exchange our views on this subject. Please. Thank you.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على رسولنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين وبعد. Respected Chairman, colleagues, brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Today, inshallah, I will talk on Islamic movement and current developments in Turkey. Actually, it needs a semester to talk about. So I will try my best to summarize it, and during the question and answer session, we can go into it deeply. In order to understand what is going on now in Turkey, we need to go back 1 century ago. After the collapse of Ottoman, what happened? How a new republic has been established on the basis of what? Because all these things rooted there. For this reason, around 15 minutes, I will talk about it, and then I will come to the topic, inshallah. The Ottoman state, when it was collapsing, the scholars, intellectuals were discussing, even the family of Ottomans, how to save the state. At that time, 3 proposals have been discussed. The first one was pan-Ottomanism, second was pan-Islamism, and the third one was pan-Turkishness, based on total westernization. Pan-Turkishness was successful. Why it was successful? It needs another conference. The Ottoman state maintained its sovereign existence for over 6 centuries, from 1299 to 1922. The period 29 October 1923 was a very significant turning point for Turkish society. It marked the foundation of the Republic of Turkey as a nation state after the fall of Ottoman state. In this new state and within the secular paradigm, in the name of attaining contemporary level of civilization, religious society would be forced to transform itself into Western-like society. The process of Westernization actually started long before the Republic of Turkey, especially at early 18th century with the decline of Ottoman. However, this does not mean a shift of paradigm at that time, but to maintain its sovereign existence and attainment of acceptability of the advancing West. The founders of the new republic rejected the entire legacy of Ottomans and carried out radical reforms and structural change by means of reforms tagged Kemalist revolution. We call it Kemalist inkılap devrimleri, inkılap kanunları, aimed at creating a secular republic and westernized society. The notion of an Islamic state or continuity of Ottoman state was an anathema to them. They viewed such a state as form of maintaining the status quo and perpetuating Turkey backwardness and retrogressing. They wished Turkey be transformed into a modern nation state which lives as an advanced and civilized nation in the midst of the contemporary civilization. Such a nation would have to be secular and rational, with a great emphasis on science and modern education in order to create a modern industrial economy. To achieve their goals and objectives, they adopted a two-pronged strategy. Transformation of entire social political structure according to the modern Western norms and values on the one hand, and a complete violent break with the immediate past, an assertion of identity with ancient Anatolian civilization and on the other hand. The main idea was to cut off the links of the people with their past through the inculcation of Western values into Turkish society. They thought that if the society continued to keep in touch with the past, that means Islamic values, modernization process would fail. Radical reforms, in their opinion, had to be adopted for this purpose, however painful. On 3rd March 1924, the Grand National Assembly deposed the Caliph and abolished the Caliphate. The abolition of the Caliphate was a prelude to the program of radical secularism. And these are, of course, very important. Each needs to be addressed independently. The Ministry of Religious Affairs was disbanded. The historic office of Sheikh al-Islam ceased to exist. The revenues of the Pious Foundation were confiscated, and all religious schools were transferred to the secular schools with a scientific positivist curriculum. The religious course of Sharia, which related to matters such as marriage, divorce, inheritance, simply ahwal al-shakhsiyya, were closed. Civil marriage replaced religious marriage, and a civil code based on that of the civis planned to prevail over all. The Turkish criminal code was imported from the Italian penal code, and the German code of criminal procedures was adopted by Turkish. Obviously, the reforms began with the modern constitution by adopting the European laws and jurisprudence. Meanwhile, the reformists even changed the letters from Arabic character to the Roman alphabet, which temporarily rendered the whole population illiterate. The elimination of words of Arab and Persian origin, a change from the lunar calendar to the solar calendar, adoption of family names instead of religious titles, and the substitution of Sunday as a holiday for Friday are clear example of the movement Turkish society toward secular society. In addition to above reforms and others, judicial system was completely secularized. Despite the said reforms, Article 2 of the Turkish Constitution said, the religion of the Turkish state is Islam. But in 1928, this clause was deleted and all other expressions and references to religion were removed from the Constitution. One of the most important and symbolic reform was the dress code reform, which was promoted aggressively by the state, and it continued until 2008. Now it is, alhamdulillah, free. Progresses made through the reforms were too rapid. Turkish evolution effectively abolished age-long tradition for a modernized Turkey, but the vast majority of the population were unaccustomed and were not willing to adopt all reforms. The urban elites are true beneficiaries of the reforms at the expense of the general inhabitants of the rural countryside. Replacing religious sentiments and customs that existed for centuries with a new worldview sentiments was not an easy task. Particularly reforms related to Islam met with opposition. The common perception was that Islam was in danger and jeopardized. And in order to assert its identity, it has to resist the reforms in many forms. Here you have seen the background, the new constitution and the new society. And Turkish society will also resist to these developments. But unfortunately there was no many scholars to lead Turkish society because of many reasons. First reason, Turkey went under the so difficult periods, war with the Western and Russian and other countries. During this war, scholars took part, and many of them become shaheeds. After the revolution, what remained from the scholars, some of them has been expelled from the Turkey, like the last Shaykh al-Islam Sabri Effendi and Allama Zahidul Kawsari. They are expelled to Egypt and they passed away in Egypt, and many other scholars. And those who stayed in Turkey, some of them has been jailed or sent to exile, like Bediüzzaman Said Nursi, Süleyman Hilmi Tuna, and others. And very few of them allowed to stay in their cities by condition to stay at home, not to meet people, not even go to prayer, except Jummah prayer. They wanted to cut their relationship off with the people. On the other hand, they started to apply very radical reforms, and they changed the syllabus, they changed even reciting Holy Quran has been banned. It was to this extent, and they forced people to accept new rules and to westernize. But people did not accept this. With very few scholars, they went underground. Since you cannot have Islamic books at home, it is forbidden. Even Quran is forbidden. You cannot teach Holy Quran. What you will do? People, in order to save their Islamic identity and values, they went underground. The problem started here. When they went underground, no groups know what other groups are doing, what type of methodology they are adopting, how they train their children and students, because it is not allowed, it is illegal. So people went underground, and many organizations, Islamic movements underground, alhamdulillah, they did great jobs to serve for Ummah, to serve for Turkish Muslims, and to serve preserving Islamic identity in Turkey. But on the other hand, some groups, they went astray, they went away from the teaching of Ahl Sunnah, the mainstream of Islam. But we didn't know all of them because they were underground. It continued until 1950s, when the Republic Democrat Party elected Adnan Menderes become the Prime Minister. They allowed freedom, very limited freedom to religious movement to come to surface to contact the people directly. And here we have Islamic organization like they called it Rasail al-Nur, and Bediüzzaman Said Nursi was alive, and of course they are united. We have Süleymancılar, we have Iskender Pasha and other Islamic organizations. They are, not all of them are known by you. After when Bediüzzaman Said Nursi passed away, 1960, his students divided into groups. Now I may say that those organizations working and under the name of Rasail al-Nur movements, you may have more than 10 groups. They are not united. Fethullah Gulen, at that time, after the demise of Bediüzzaman Said Nursi, attached to this organization. He was a young preacher, and he is unknown to majority of Turkish community, and he started to teach the books of Bediüzzaman Said Nursi. He has a biography published by the Gülen organization, which is called Küçük Dünyam, My Small World. In his biography, he has been asked, did you meet with Bediüzzaman Said Nursi? He said no. Why you didn't go to Bediüzzaman Said Nursi and get some courses and learn something from him? He said that at that time I was a nationalist. Bediüzzaman Said Nursi was a Kurdish. So I was hating from Kurdish, and I was having high standard of Turkishness, feeling of Turkishness, so I didn't went there to him. But later on, after the demise of Bediüzzaman Said Nursi, I have seen a dream. I have seen in my dream that racism is not allowed in Islam. So I started to read his books. I started to go and see his students. So Fethullah Gülen, instead of learning racism is not allowed in Islam through the Quran and Hadith and other Islamic literature, he learned that racism is not allowed in Islam through the dreams. And dream is very, very important in his life. Even if you read his biography, you will see that everything is related to dreams. So this organization emerged, and 1968 he separated from the students of Bediüzzaman Said Nursi, and he established his own Jama'ah. And he didn't name Jama'ah because at that time all Islamic organizations are banned. You cannot have a Jama'ah. For this, the state called them Fethullahçılar, attributed to his name. And the people accepted this. Now you say Fethullahçılar Cemaati in Turkey. And during the 1990s, they called themselves Khidma, Hizmet Hareketi. But at the beginning, they refused to have a Jama'ah. This organization, when it started in Izmir city, and they were also underground organization. No one knows what are they doing. Yes, they have some schools, but rather than the schools, what are they do? How they teach their students, we don't know. These are all secret to the Turkish society, as the others do. During 90s, particularly after the collapse of Russia, this organization started to go beyond the Turkey, and particularly to us Turkish, us Central Asian countries. They started to go there and establish the schools, and even the Turkish society shocked that within 5 years 6 years, they have established more than 20 countries, so many schools. And then these schools, the number of the state increased up to 171 countries. At that time, we used to hear from them, we used to learn something, but piece by piece. 1994, I was in Islamabad and studying International Islamic University, and they came 1994 to Islamabad and they established their schools. We had very good relations with them, but we were criticizing their methodology, because methodology was based on at-taqiyya. They used to justify the taqiyya. Why? Because the realities are not good in Turkey. If you have an Islamic movement, you cannot work openly. Every free election, 1950s, and we had a free election, and people have elected Democrat Party, which was close to them. And after 10 years, a military coup destroyed the democracy in Turkey and even executed Prime Minister. And after some time, again, the democracy has been established. After 9 years, another military coup. It continued. After 10 years, in 1980s, we had another military coup. So each 10 years, we have military coup. And each military coup comes and erase all the achievements has been done by the scholars and Muslim communities. For this reason, the Gulen organization adopted taqiyya as a methodology. In order to save achievements and the Muslim identity in Turkey, you have to have existing in army, but you cannot, because anyone in army is just established prayer, he will be expelled. Anyone in army have a wife with headscarf, he will be expelled from army. To the extent, even if your mother, you wearing headscarf, it is a reason to be expelled from the army. They wanted army to be purely secular. For this reason, Gulen has given fatwa that his students can go to army and register in army schools and hide their identity, total identity. He has given fatwa that they should not pray in the army, they should not fast, they should not show any religious feelings and identity. In order to hide their identity, even they can take alcohol. If they want to establish the prayer, when they go to home, close the door, nobody inside, they establish the prayer. Or they establish the prayer with imam. So this, and the fatwa is given not only to those who are in army, the fatwa is given to those who are in police forces, in secret service, in Turkish judiciary. And they were justifying that if we don't exist in these sensitive posts, we cannot protect Islam in Turkey. Every 10 years they will come and they will erase the whole achievement we done. When I was in Islamabad, I asked this to one of my lecturers. He was a great scholar, Sheikh Abdullah KIRKHS. He is well known in Pakistan. I explained the situation in Turkey. I said how the new Turkish national state has been established. And these are the pressure on Muslims. Even the books are forbidden. Quran is forbidden for until 1950s. In order to preserve Islam in Turkey, is it allowed taqiyya to the extent Fatullah Gülen explained it? I explain in details why this fatwa is given. Sheikh Abdullah Kakakhil told me that it is not allowed in Islam. I told him, then how we survive? He said that how long it will continue? I said, no one knows. It may continue 10 years, it may continue 30 years, it may continue 1 century. He said this is not allowed because Islam is to preserve prayer, to preserve fasting, to preserve Islamic identity. Through this methodology, you are having a crypto identity, double personality. In your inner life, you are Muslim, religious man, but in your normal life, you are purely secular, and this will transform your character. And you will inculcate this as a character. This will be your character. Don't do it, it is not allowed. But if the others, let's say Harakat-i Gülen, practice this, let them to practice, but you don't do it. If they ask me, I will tell them it is not allowed in Islam. This organization, because of this methodology, has been criticized by other Islamic organizations. We had so many organizations, big organization and small organization. Let's say that even there are small groups in the even the village, and more than 500 organizations, Islamic organization was there, because each act independently from the others. And because of the situation, you cannot come together, you cannot have conferences, you cannot have discussing, you cannot be transparent. That's the reason when the Islamic movements are not transparent and they are underground, yes, there will be good Islamic movements, and also there will be other groups will go to astray, will adopt what do you call it? Heretics teachings and etc. And we witness this very closely because they are not transparent. If you do something in the name of Islam, I can ask you, what's your proof? What's your dalil? What's your dalil from Quran and Sunnah? What scholar says? So we can control each other. Check and balance system. But if they are all underground, it is impossible to check each other. And this is actually what happened in Turkey. And the majority of Islamic movements, alhamdulillah, they were good and still they are acting and preserving Turkish Islamic identity. But on the other hand, very few went astray. I can give some example like, which is very, very famous and popular among Malay and Indonesians, Harun Yahya group. So, when I was here, it was very difficult to me to explain my colleagues. Harun Yahya is, he himself and his group is not someone you expected. You read his books, translated into 50 languages, and in many countries are bestsellers, among the bestsellers his books. But this guy is adopting a way of life and teaching a way of life which is un-Islamic totally. And they were not believing us. But alhamdulillah, when this guy himself established his TV channels, he established a TV channel, you can watch it even online. And they by themselves, they started to upload their programs to YouTube, and it became very clear. So he comes with his students, female students, without hijab, with very sexy dresses, and dancing together on TV live in the name of Islam. And they say that in order to get the hearts of the Western people, you have to show moderate Islam. This is the moderate Islam. And he also says that because he is always focusing on Mahdi, who is Mehdi, he says that there are features of Mehdi, features are around 100 features, all are applicable to me. On TV he says. All of them are applicable to me, applicable on me, but I don't claim I am Mehdi. And there was another group, a Sufi group. They were at the beginning champion of Ahl Sunnah in Turkey, Haydarbash group. You see, we always name Jama'ah with the leader because they cannot have an Islamic name because it is forbidden. So just you look at who is leader and you attach the followers to himself. Haydarbash groups. And this guy even was a sheikh of Qadri Sufi order. He, at the beginning of 2000, converted to Shia. Unfortunately, when he converted to Shia, almost all of his followers converted to Shia Isna Ashariya with him. And they have also TV channel, they have also newspaper, and they also broadcast their ideas and calling Sunni people to Shia. And this is the real Islam according to them. All these movements underground taught Islam one-sided to their students. And they have focused on leader in a way that you have to give total obedience to him. Total obedience to leader means total obedience to Prophet Muhammad. Total obedience to Prophet Muhammad means total obedience to Allah Almighty. And you see this in Harun Yahya group, you see this in Haydarbash group, you see this in, also in Fathullah group, Fathullah Gülen group. But Fathullah Gülen group was very big movement, unlike to the others, and its impact is so much big. The first Islamic journal Gülen group published, and still it is alive, which is called Sızıntı. Sızıntı means in what do you call it? Leak. Leak. Actually, it was the methodology of the organization, Jama'ah, to leak everywhere, to infiltrate in every organization. We did know they are existing in army. We did know they are existing in police forces, judiciary, and others. But we didn't know it is big to this extent. Almost half of generals were from this organization. 168 generals now in prison. And some of them already admitted. They gave their testimony. At the beginning, this organization played a great role in toppling down Erbakan. Marhum Erbakan, he became prime minister in 1996. And the military was not happy with him, and they were the secular media and the military forces, they all used to criticize him, even insulting him. And Gülen was one of those who was criticizing him, asking him to leave the post. Of course, at that time, Erdogan was the mayor of Istanbul, and he is from the Erbakan movement, Hizb Rafah. When the army forced Erbakan to resign, Fethullah Gülen has given interview on TV. And he has been asked, how you consider army is forcing a democratically elected party to resign? What's your opinion? It is alive on TVs. He said that in Islam, if a mujtahid makes ijtihad and he fails, he gets one reward. If his ijtihad is true, he will get true ijtihad. That's what army is doing. And he clarified them. Of course, this ignited very big tension between Rafah organization and the Gulen organization. And they were saying that in order to preserve Islam in Turkey, you have to resign. Otherwise, the military will come and destroy every achievement we did. In the name of preserving achievement of the Gulen organization, you have to resign. And then 2001, Erdogan separated from Erbakan and established his own party, Justice and Development Party. And after 1 year, they got the majority and they established the government. And Gülen movement, they aligned with Erdogan. And they working together, and they used this as an opportunity to increase their number in army, in judiciary, in the police forces, in secret service, in universities. When they tried to topple down the government, the number of the rectors from this organization was 25, to this extent. They used this, and they used to say that to Erdogan, if we don't alliance, if you don't give us room to increase our number in the Turkish establishment, there will be another military coup. In order to avoid from military coup, we have to be strong in the army. After 15 July, Erdogan made an apology in front of the people. He said that I am deceived. I am deceived because I didn't expect that those people who establish prayer will harm Islam and Muslims. I didn't think that the harm can come from those who are establishing prayer. So this is my mistake. I do apologize from my people, and also I make tawbah to Allah. What happened? They used to work together until 2008 and 9. When Turkey started to show that it wants its own independent strategy to be applied in the Middle East, and they don't want to stay in European Union for a long time. When they have Turkish government could develop country in a good extent, and when the economy become very good and the political stability is very good, and having very good relation with the neighbors, as you can remember the policy which is called zero problem with the neighbors. It was going very well, but suddenly two important developments emerged. One is a group of Turkish NGOs organized aid for Gaza with international NGOs, including some Malaysian NGOs. And they have rented ships full of aids to Gaza people, and they sailed at the middle of Mediterranean Sea, at international sea. The ship has been attacked, this which is called Mavi Flotilla. And 10 Turkish citizens has been killed. At that time, actually Erdogan was not willing to send them, because Erdogan was expecting this can cause a problem with Turkey and others. But since they are NGOs, and you cannot force them to stop, he kept silent. But when this happened, Fethullah Gülen criticized Erdogan, criticized his government, and criticized those who organized this Mavi Flotilla. He said that since there is a legal authority there, Israel is a legal authority, if you want to take aid to Gaza, you have to get permission from the legal authority. And now he has been, the people started to question him in Turkey. How you consider Israel as a legal authority? And it started now, they had an English newspaper which is called Today's Zaman. In Today's Zaman, all articles are against Turkey and against Erdogan, criticizing Erdogan being now acting like a new Ottomans. It started. And it continued until the emerge of another big issue, that is Arab Spring. When Arab Spring started in Tunis. And it spread to Libya, then to Egypt, then to Syria, Yemen, and no one knows what's going on. Turkish government waited almost 6 months, tried to bring different groups together and reconcile between the state and the people. But it reached to the point that you have to decide. You are either with people or with the status quo. And they decided to be with the people instead of status quo, because at that time the United States of America was pressing on Turkey and saying that there is two options, democracy and stability. Democracy means Islamists will come to power. Stability means status quo should be continued. So they said we are with the status quo, and Turkey had to decide, and Turkey decided to stay to support people. And here Gulen people again rised up. They used their all power, media power, and their power within the Turkish establishment to stop the Erdogan and his party. They forced Turkey to stand with the United States of America instead of supporting these Arab Spring. It was another very big tension between these two organizations. So Erdogan told them, what are you trying to do? Do you want to run the country? Come and establish a party, which is allowed in Turkey. Establish a party, go to people. If people elected you, then you run the country. But you have no party, you are not in charge of the country, but you try to run the country. We will not allow it. And this continued until 2013 December. 2013 December, a group of police forces prepared files against 4 ministers, including Erdogan's son, accusing them for bribery and other issues. There are some facts, but these facts mixed with the false accusation and the false documents. This has been prepared by police forces belonging to Gülen organization. And it has been taken to public prosecutor. Public prosecutor also belongs to Gülen organization. And public prosecutor takes these files to a judge, also belong to Gülen organization. And through the judiciary, they try to topple down the government, but they failed. When they failed, and the rift become very strong. And it continued. During these times, I used to go other countries, let's say to Tunis, to Al-Maghrib, or some other countries. Always scholars were telling us, why not you allow us as a group of scholars, international scholars, we come and be middle, we bring Erdogan and Fethullah Gülen together, and we solve the problems. They were thinking that it is a just problem of power. I was telling them this is deeper than this. And it was very difficult for them to understand, even the scholars from India. The Deoband schools, this Nadwatul Ulama and others, they were all saying that they are very natural and they would like to help. They didn't know that Gulen movement made alliance with United States of America. They were thinking that it is just the issue of power. But on 2016, 15 July, they tried to topple down the government through the coup. In one night, they have killed 250 people. Police forces and including so many civilians. They wounded more than 2,000 people. Many people lost their legs, arms, eyes. There are some of them still in coma. They bombed Turkish parliament with 17 jets. Turkish parliament 11 times, and all MPs were inside, even the opposition and justice and the working party. They were all inside. And you have here, and I have also some books. You can also Google, you can see that timeline of 15 July, what happened and in which cities they tried to take the power and there was resisting and how many people they killed. You have the all details. Even they sent a group of special army forces belong to the same organization to assassinate Erdogan. And he just, with 15 minutes, escaped from this assassination. At that night, when we understood that this is a military coup attempt, first we didn't know what's going on. We waited. And Prime Minister Bin Ali himself, through the phone, reached to the TV channel and he said that there is a group of within army trying to capture the state, and they are limited in number. We will not surrender them, and we are in control of the state, and we will fight back. That was the statement he made. But still, we don't know the real information, what's going on. And it continued almost 2 hours, and then Erdogan joined to CNN, to TV channels, to the phone, which is very famous. And he called people to the out of streets. He said that now people that belong to the Gulen organization, they are using their power in military, in police forces, trying to topple down the government. I asked my people to go out of the streets, to go to airports, to go to parliament, to go to these sensitive areas and protect the state. It was 12:30 at night. Let's say myself, my wife, my children, my brothers, my sisters, my nephews, all family members, we went to airport because it is close to my house. The others, they went to other places. And within 2 hours, millions of people came out of the streets. Millions. And they were not only from Justice and Development Party, they were also from Nationalist Party. Even from the CHP, there was a small group, but from this party who were against the military coup, they all supported Erdogan. They came out of the streets. And this I can say this war continued almost 5 hours. After 5 hours, they are defeated. When they are defeated, they started to run away. Some of them, they took refuge in Greece. Some of them went out of Turkey to the European countries. After a few days, what happened in the military base, the cameras got the pictures of those commanders, generals, those who are organizing the military. All of them are very clear. All of them are recorded. And TV started to show them to the people to understand what had happened. In brief, 99% of Turkish society believe that, firmly believe that Gülen organization is behind this military power, military coup attack. But Gülen was not alone. Actually, the NATO, particularly the United States of America, was behind. Because they were unhappy with the policies of Erdogan government. They tried to topple down him and bring a new government. But let's say if military coup attempt was successful, what would happen? What would happen the next day? Actually, it was a civil war. If it was successful, Turkey would be returned to another Syria. People will never accept this. When we were in the streets, I used to hear from ordinary people. Even a lady, I heard that she said, we will never let Turkey to turn as Syria. With this belief, they were out of streets. And of course, the other remnant of Gülen organization stayed in the army, and the risk of another attempt was there. Erdogan asked people to stay in the streets. And 29 days in all Turkish cities, we have 81 cities. 29 days continuously, people were at the streets at night. Daytime they used to go to work, and at night they used to come the main squares in the cities, and in millions they were waiting there to protect the state. It continued 29 days. After 29 days, Erdogan asked them, okay, go to your home. If there is a risk, we will ask you to come again to the streets. During this period, they could identify many of them and expel them from the army, from police forces, from the judiciary, and even prison them. And Turkey also felt a great risk that it may have a war. After this, a war can happen. So if there is a possibility of war, Turkey must be safe within. If you don't expel them, you will have this risk. And you cannot fight with another country. Although these army, the half of the generals and so many high ranks of army members has been expelled, Turkey feel that it is stronger today. Why? Because if you go to war with these many people inside, helping the enemy, alliance with the enemy, how you will win the war? So that was the issue, and it still continue. And I can say that now there is no future for Gülen movement in Turkey. Yes, they are strong out of Turkey. They are now creating a diaspora, well organized, having well network, and working in all countries against the Turkish interest. But within Turkey, they lost their power, and they don't have future. During 2008 and 9, there was a survey, a study about Turkish opinion towards Fethullah Gülen. According to the study, 85% of Turkish society were supporting Gülen. 85%. And this survey has been repeated after 15 July. It is only 1%. And these are the people attached to the same organization. And another proof of this the last year there was election, and Gülen people nominated the well-known people, including Hakan Şükür, which is a football player. He is very famous. Now he run to United States. He is living in America. They nominated 10 people from the area they are strong, but none of them has been elected. They nominated them as independent candidate. None of them has been elected. And it shows that their popularity among the Turkish society. Now all religious movements, scholars are against them. They made declarations. And all secular forces also against them. And they lost in Turkey. And they don't have a future now in Turkey. But out of Turkey, as I mentioned, they will do so many things. And until their leader pass away. Their leader, Fethullah Gülen, is living in United States of America since 1999. And the Jama'ah, his followers believe that he is the expected man. Expected man, we refer to two things, Mehdi or Masih. And he has always connection to Prophet Muhammad. Every Tuesday night he meet with Prophet Muhammad. Instructions comes directly from Prophet Muhammad. That is the belief of his followers. That's the reason why they are so stick to him. Because he is not an ordinary man. He is not a scholar making ijtihad. He is someone always, every Tuesday night, having meeting with Prophet Muhammad, and these instructions are giving him, actually it is come from Prophet Muhammad. There is a survey among his followers. His majority of his followers are coming from very secular families, and from cities, religiosity is very low. They focused on these cities, like Izmir city. He himself was in Izmir city. And they have taught Islam one-sided. And it was very easy to convince them this type of teachings. And it is also another well-known fact. We have A'immat wal-Khutaba, a government school which teach Islam and with modern sciences together. And those who attach to his organization from A'immat wal-Khutaba is almost nothing. Very, very few. Because they have Islamic background, they can question, they can ask, they can judge with the Quranic teaching. So mostly from secular segment of society, they got their manpower. How many minutes we have, Ustaz? Or I may stop one question and answer.
Yeah, I think in 5 minutes if you can.
First thing first, Turkish society was asking themselves. There are well-known, internationally known scholars like Yusuf al-Qaradawi. Yusuf al-Qaradawi is blacklisted in the United States of America. Cannot go to America. Like Tariq Ramadan, he is also blacklisted, cannot go to America. And you have so many other examples. These type of people, since they are blacklisted in America, how Fethullah Gülen is not only living in the United States of America, he is well protected. Well protected, there is an agreement between Turkey and United States. Agreement signed 1988. According to this agreement, if someone is accused with criminal, the other side should surrender the accused one. Based on this, Turkey has given many people to the United States of America. And now Turkey asked United States of America, he is accused and he involved in this type of military attempts, and he must come and stand in front of the court. But the United States of America did not give him, and still protecting him. So this was a question asked common people in Turkey. On one hand, even moderate scholars are blacklisted. On the other hand, Fethullah Gülen is fully protected in the expense of having Turkey criticizing the United States of America and harming its relations with the United States of America. So this is also, I put here, you can also think about this. I finish with this and we can have question and answer, inshallah. Or your comments. I have read your articles.
Thank you very much, Dr. Serdar. It was very enlightening and full of information, and many people, I think, wanted to know, which you have already elaborated to us.